All right, everyone, we are here with a very special guest. We are joined by the iconic Kate Hudson.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited. We just can't believe that you're here.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. I love the whole setup. It's so fun.
Yes, we're very festive in here for the holidays, which we like, even though our portrait is slowly dropping. I feel like
it is kind of like it's
starting to droop a tad.
Yeah.
I don't think it likes the studio lights.
You might need water.
Yeah, don't worry. It has some.
We can ignore this.
Yeah. But I will say, I think the studio lights for sure. But we are so happy that you're here.
Oh.
We were so excited when this. I was like, I could not have called my mom faster when I was like, oh my God, we booked Kate Hudson on the show. We're so pumped and excited to have you here.
Happy to be here.
Rhea and I saw the movie this week, Song Sung Blue. It's so good.
Thanks.
And you are so fantastic in it.
Thank you.
We were blown away because really I recommend going in this way because sometimes people, you Google a movie, you find out too many things about it before you go see it. Go see this without really knowing what happens.
Because it's such a great, it takes you on a journey that you don't expect, and it makes the movie even better. Although I have to say, the third time I saw the movie, I cried even harder. Like it actually did something. I felt even like I loved it even more. Maybe that's because I got distance from myself a little bit, but people who've seen it like multiple times still have the same reaction when they see it a second time. So maybe
there's a surprise element to watching it for the first time that I think gets you, and then watching it for the second or third time, you obviously know what's going to happen. So I think you're taking in the emotion a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think it's important, though, for people to know that it's not about Neil Diamond. I think, right? So it's like they're a Neil Diamond tribute band. It's a true story about a couple from Milwaukee that started a tribute band. And it's really about their life and their family. And Neil Diamond, sort of his music is kind of what kind of pulls you through the movie, but it's not a musical. It sort of feels like a throwback, one of those great classic like Touchstone Pictures movie, like Terms of Endearment or Moonstruck or movies like that are more human but still incredibly entertaining and make you laugh and make you cry. And
Totally.
Yeah, there are so many elements to it because, like Fran said, going in, you don't really have many expectations because we didn't, do that much Googling.
Yeah.
We wanted to be surprised by it. But like you said,
we knew Neil Diamond tribute band.
Yes, we knew that part of it.
Yes.
Where, like you had to clarify, it is not a Neil Diamond biopic.
No.
Which is actually such a fun spin on the movie and makes it even that much more interesting to me. Like you said, so funny, heartwarming. You cry a little bit. It's a tearjerker.
It's a love story.
It is.
It's such a beautiful love story.
I loved their love so much. And now I'm so interested in researching the actual couple.
Wait till you see the documentary. It's wild. And the thing I got the most from their documentary, because the movie is actually based on the documentary, but the thing I got the most from that was their love. Like how she looked at him. She was just completely like madly, and they were so in love with each other. And I think it's the kind of love everyone longs to have, and you think it's like all, champagne and roses, but then life happens and life, takes you down twisty roads, and you, when you have that kind of love, it gets you through anything. And it's just like, it hits you in a place that just right in the core of like what you hope you have in your life to get you through it.
And you mentioned such a beautiful part of it where you're right. Like it is at first, they're just enamored with each other and they love it and you feel it. And also you guys do such an excellent job of portraying that. Like I could feel the chemistry between you guys watching. And then on top of that, like you said, life happens, things get in the way, but they push through together.
Yeah.
And you're right, it is beautiful. And, you hope to watch movies like that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like when they don't believe in themselves, they have each other to believe in them almost for them. It gets them through the hardest time. Yeah. So when you have someone who believes in you, it gets you on your feet. It picks you up. It gets you motivated to keep moving forward, hopefully. And that's what they do for each other. And then they fall in love through music. Like they'd love, they'd love to perform.
Yeah.
It would have been very easy to make fun of a couple like Mike and Claire, right? Neil Diamond is a very particular type of artist. They love sequins. They are very committed to their act. And I think that when people would go see them, it was their commitment to Neil Diamond and how they were on stage that made people just absolutely fall in love with them and have the best time enjoying their music. But it could have gone in another direction. Like Craig or any other director than Craig could have, tipped it, their accents, and tipped it kind of over the edge, made it a little bit more tongue in cheek. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Craig, our writer-director, really just honored these people in every ounce of their commitment to have this big dream to just sing. And for them, their big dream was like, I want to sing in a casino. Like it's not Madison Square Garden. Yeah. It's a bar, a consistent singing job at a bar for them would have paid their bills and gave them a really happy life. Like that's, for them, their big dream. And it's just incredibly refreshing and heartwarming.
Yeah, it is. And you mentioned the accents. One of the first things we turned to each other, we were like, she is crushing this Midwest accent. And
so good.
And there's a certain type of Wisconsin Midwest accent.
Yeah.
And I think you nailed it. So how did you kind of perfect that accent?
There's a lot of different accent. Like the Midwest is surprising how different. It's almost like England. There's like within a small radius, there's 10 different accents. The Wisconsin, I worked with someone worked for me for a very long time from Wisconsin. And I always used to make fun of her accent a little bit. But then I realized when I started working with Jess Platt, our dialect coach, that she said a ton of words wrong. Like she used to say things like, her name was Kathy. She used to say things like, oh, I'm so sorry. And that's very Canadian,
right?
But what I've realized was that she was overcorrecting her Wisconsin accent to try to be a little bit more generic, which then made some of her O's sound wild. So I showed up thinking, oh, I know this accent really well. And Jess was like, no, that's not how Wisconsin people say it. So, and then I had Claire, who I wanted to make sure, she has a very specific kind of voice. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't sort of mimicking her voice, but that I had a certain kind of cadence to it that was that's similar to Claire's. And so I had the documentary. So it was like a bunch of different things that I had to study. And then honestly, it's like studying for an exam, you like study and study and study and study. And then once you get on set, hopefully it's just there and it's kind of like second nature. Because the last thing you want to be doing is thinking about your accent when you're trying to do, the hard stuff.
And like you said, you mentioned it, that Mike and Claire could be a couple that you would maybe make fun of, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you don't want that to come across, the accents and all of that. It was so purely done. And then on top of that, you're watching, and I don't want to spoil anything in the movie, but you're seeing some big performances. And, sometimes you see like a tribute band or a cover band and the person gets so into it and you're like, wow, they really wish they were Neil Diamond, or they really wish this. But they just wanted to be them singing.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really beautiful in the whole film. And also, the only thing better than your accent is your voice.
Oh my God.
Because
thank you so much.
So true.
Just getting to hear you sing in this way, and also just different because you're doing a little impersonation in the beginning, but then your real voice, it was amazing.
Thank you. I love to sing. This was fun because I got to sing the Patsy Cline songs, and so that kind of to try to get a little bit of her voice, to more of a mimic. And then with the Neil Diamond stuff, it's actually quite hard because the register's a little weird, and for me, and we had to create duets. So, Craig, our director, brought us in before we started shooting the movie. We pre-recorded the songs, and then was like, we're also going to sing them live. So we were all mic'd up and so that they could do a kind of a blend. But we got to go in the studio. Hugh and I got to know each other, which was really nice because that was a good way to break the ice. And Craig really kind of left a lot of those harmonies up to me. We had a wonderful woman did some scratch harmonies. We used some of those, but then he really let me explore and kind of find my own way of singing with Hugh, which I think was really great because we got to know how we sang together, and it felt really good, And then by the time we got on set, that was the easy part,
It almost felt like a thank God Kate Hudson is finally blessing us with her voice in a movie. But also really nice of you to kind of keep that locked in for a little bit, because you're so talented in other ways. It's like, oh, and she has a phenomenal voice on top of that.
We can't sing, so it's always like funny. It's like if we could sing, we'd be telling everyone we can sing and do it all the time. But you also, released your own album last year.
Yeah.
And I wonder, what connection this movie had with that, or vice versa, if your doing music had any effect on the movie.
I think doing music changed my life.
Yeah.
Like that was just that. I mean, to take this movie out of the equation, it just completely changed everything for me. But for this movie in particular, Hugh actually saw me promoting my album, and that's why I got the part. He saw me on CBS Morning talking about why I had to make an album, or why I finally had to be doing music, and for me, and he just called our director and was like, she has to play Claire. And I'd known our director for many years because when he did Hustle and Flow, which is such a great movie, and if you haven't seen it, you guys have to see that movie. You'll love it.
Okay.
And I saw him, I must have been like 24. And I was like, I saw that movie and I was like, I have to meet this director. So I've known him a long time now. It was almost 20 years.
That's okay.
Yeah. I'm like, how many years? 17?
Yeah.
But so we finally got to work together. So he was immediately, when Hugh said that, he was game.
Right.
And I don't, it wouldn't have happened if I didn't make an album, this movie. So yeah, I think making the choice to do something for myself without the expectation of an outcome has changed the way a lot of people have seen me, which which internally, which is really interesting. I also I feel like what you put out is what ends up coming back, meaning something happened in COVID. I love doing businesses. I love it. It's so much fun because I love a ton of different things. I could do a business of linens and napkins and you know what I mean? I'm such an Aries. I get so bored. I could do a business of shoes. I could But something happened. My love is the arts. So, I want to sing, I want to write, I want to dance, I want to act. And something happened in COVID where I was like, God, are we actually is this it? That first 3 weeks of lockdown, I really was like, this is kind of freaky. Yeah. Knowing someone that died, having things that around you that were happening. And then I was like, am I okay with dying right now? I obviously not with my kids, that's a whole other thing. But I want to stay here for my kids. But am I happy with my creative output? And it was a really fast no for me. Mm-hmm. And I think that was where I was like, I'm not really doing the things that I want, that I really want to be doing. I love to write. I write music, and I like to write script. I haven't done that, and I hadn't done my music. I hadn't directed yet. I had so many things that I hadn't been doing the types of movies that I wanted to be doing. I've been a mom and doing business. And I finally was like, you know what? After COVID and after Ronnie gets a little bit bigger, I was like, I'm just changing direction. I'm changing the direction of how I think about my choices and the things I want to be doing. And it's been like kind of a game changer for me, you know? Yeah. And it really makes you think like it's really what you put out. You know what I mean? Like it's really becomes about the choices that you're making and why you're making those choices.
That is so true. Yeah. And I feel like especially, you know, as we get older and we get comfortable in our jobs and positions, you go, okay, well, you know, this could be it, but I'm not pushing myself more. There's more that I want to
you don't
accomplish.
Upset the status quo and things are going good. You're sort of like, I don't want to like, you know, shake things up.
Yeah. Or we stop ourselves and go, that it'll never work. Well, it won't work until we try.
Yeah, or you risk failure, and that's really, really, really scary. But in the arts, if you're not failing, you're not doing anything. You know, I mean, you have to fail in the arts to succeed at anything. There's no such thing as a successful creative career without failures. Yeah. That's like an insane, maybe Tom Cruise. Yeah. But he's got some in there.
There's
somewhere.
something in there. Well, also it's incredible that you say all that because that's also a theme with Claire in the movie without giving too much away, which is really beautiful and inspiring to hear.
A lot of resilience.
You know, exactly, especially from someone like you who we look up to, right? Like you said, you can get your hand on anything. You love creating businesses or doing it all, and we look at you and go, you know, Kate Hudson, she can do it all, but you still feel like there's more. You still want to put yourself out there and accomplish more, which is so inspiring to everybody.
Yeah. I think that, you know, forging forward is just my nature. And it's Claire's nature in the movie. You know, I mean, I again, it's hard. Like life does, it would be irresponsible of me to like pretend that I also haven't had moments where forging forward felt impossible, whether it be in relationships, whether it be with certain situations with my children, whether it be in business. Like you know, I feel very lucky and blessed, but like there are hard moments in your life, and my nature is to forge. I'm a bootstrap. You know, I pull up my bootstraps and I like. You know, I like to be moving forward. And Claire is similar in the sense of like she really fights for joy. She's really fighting for her life to be the best version of her life. And she struggles with a lot of mental health and everybody will see it in the movie. I don't want to spoil anything, but you know, she does, you know, it's an uphill battle for her a lot of times. Yeah. So, but like when you meet Claire as a real person, her person, I mean, she smiles with her whole body. You know, you feel her joy with her energetically. It's like, and I find people like that just so inspiring. Yeah. I want to be like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's a choice. It really is. You know, it's something you have to choose to do, like, you know, as often as you possibly can.
Yeah. How much did you try to talk with her, you know, during the process of making the movie, or did you kind of wait till afterwards?
Craig was he didn't really want me getting too close to the family in terms of getting stories and he wrote a script. He liked his script. The last thing he wanted was like me or Hugh being like, what about the story that Claire just told me about? Right. So he really wanted me to just like focus on the documentary, you know, talk to Rachel and Claire, and then I met them on set.
Okay, amazing.
I know it was so great when she came on set. The whole crew came around, and because her story really is inspirational, and everybody just was clapping, and she was so emotional. It was so great.
I'm sure it must be such a like disbelief for her to be like, I can't believe they're making a movie, and it's Kate Hudson and Hugh Jackman playing me and my husband. It's crazy.
Rachel, the daughter, who in the movie is played by Ella Anderson, who's so great.
So
in
good.
This movie. So good. That's what Neil Diamond does.
Yeah.
So, you know. You realize how often you say so good.
so true.
And then if you say it, we have to just say it's so good.
Sweet Caroline.
So,
the hits.
but Ella, Rachel, the real Rachel, came to set and was watching. There's a performance that we do towards the end of the movie, and she just lost it. And I was like, wow, that must feel so wild to see Hugh Jackman playing your dad, you know? And you come from a small area in Wisconsin, simple life, and here, your story is being made into a major motion picture. What a trip. That must have been so cool.
Really. It really must. And his the actor that plays your son in the movie,
Hudson.
Also, oh my!
I know, Hudson Henley.
Truly, I think I cried every time he popped on the screen. Either when he was dancing with Joy, or like at the end of the movie, I was like, "You can't do this to me. You can't have him reaching for that cup of coffee." I went, "Oh my god,
he's so great. Yeah,
he's so good.
Yeah."
What's it like for you, kind of working with these younger actors?
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. And Hudson, the younger ones, it's funny because they develop and you always go like, oh, it's so great. And you work with them. Hudson was wonderful, but you never know where their life is going to take them. They might want to continue acting. They might, kind of go and veer off in a different direction. But Ella Anderson, who's 20 years old, 19 when she filmed this, actress. She's going to be an actress. She knows she wants to be an actress.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Seeing talent like that young, and it takes so much intelligence to make choices the way she made choices in this film. Super professional, so beautiful. Her face, just
stunning.
says so much. Like she's so emotive with just her eyes. I love it. I just can't. I just love seeing young talent. It's really exciting. So I can't wait to see what she does and, where it all, how it expands for her, because I think she's going to do great.
Yeah,
things.
definitely. I was watching your Actors on Actors with Jeremy Allen White, which I love.
I haven't
obsessed
seen
with
the whole thing yet.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
It is so good.
Oh, yay!
And
he's so great.
He's
so cute.
great.
Isn't he cute?
He is adorable. But I think it's so funny because I think there's been some conversation about and we've been talking about it on our show. It's like kind of something that Kristen Stewart has alluded to recently too. She had said that they were talking about men really just diving into their and she's like, have you ever seen a female method actor? It's like,
I heard about this.
She was like, it's like they can do so much and the same kind of thing. And I felt like you and Jeremy were having kind of a similar conversation.
So interesting.
Where
we really were.
Because he seems like somebody who's like, when
He's
I'm in this
intense.
character, forget it. Like, I'm
Right.
in it. And you're like, no, I mean, I show up to work, I work, I really care about it, but it's like, there's other things happening.
Yeah, well, I have to be a mom. I got to go home and although he's a great father, but I know what she's saying, and I think she's so right on about that. I don't know if there would be much tolerance for female method actresses,
Right, exactly.
I mean, we know these stories. You know what I mean? It's always like, it's the same thing to me as like how many chances a woman gets to actually, have a movie that doesn't work. Right? Like, how many opportunities are you going to give that movie star or that actress that you're betting on opening a movie versus a male? Mm-hmm. And historically, women get one movie. And if it doesn't do well at the box office, or two movies doesn't do well, they're not most likely going to be betting on you. Whereas men, you see them get opportunities time and time and time again. They keep going. I don't know what that really is. I don't really understand it. And I'm all about I love a good fact. If someone just gives me the facts, I get it, right? Yeah. But there is something just very typical about the challenges between women in the industry and the lack of challenges for men in our industry. It's just very It's really fascinating.
Yeah. And I think as women, we're still trying to figure it out. Like you said, you're looking for a fact.
Well, like I have this thing, right? Women sell everything, right? We sell the clothes, we sell products, we sell fashion, we sell magazines, we sell, and I believe we do sell movies. Men don't do any of that.
Yeah.
Really.
We also buy.
Right?
We're consumers.
Right? And so in the movie industry, they still have this sort of antiquated approach like, oh, well, we're going to pay this actor X amount of money, but we're going to let the woman sell the movie. We're going to put the woman out there. And this happens a lot, not on this one, because Hugh's the greatest man on the planet and is out there and does everything, you know. But men get away with not going out there and selling their movies. And it's really fascinating. I'm like not like a, you know, I'm like, everybody should do whatever the fuck they want.
Yes.
I mean, I'm, you know, if a man doesn't want to sell their movie, fine. I don't care, you know, and I still want to work with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting is how it's measured. Yeah. Right? So like, you know, a woman can go out and have an amazing like household name, sell consumer products, but will not get paid the same as the male, the man that doesn't really sell anything, but somehow is getting paid twice as much. Yeah. And I don't quite understand that, right? I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Yeah.
I need someone to come and like give me all the metrics. I want to, but I don't think they can measure it.
They wouldn't be able to back it up with the metrics.
And I want to say that as far as facts, I think, you know, I don't want to just throw something out there, but I'm pretty sure that women made up the majority of new entrepreneurs like this year. Like that was a big thing. It makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Because if they gave you the metrics, then they would have to
change
they would have to change everything. So,
well, but it is fascinating. I wonder. I do wonder about that. Like, you know, you can. The movies are interesting because really, like, you know, you do brand partnerships. They do brand partnerships, but then you're selling the brand partnership, but who's really like, right? Yeah. So like, there's all these kinds of things that are happening inside of it. But at the end of the day, how do you really decipher who should be getting paid what? It's kind of a fascinating thing these days.
It is, and movies are obviously changing so much, and that's we could do a whole nother podcast episode on that. But another thing you and Jeremy were talking about was just like the world of rom-coms. You had said to him, you know, he should do a rom-com, and you were talking about that. And
I know I want more guys to want to do that.
They should, and they really should, because I think right now we are out of that era of like the late 90s, early 2000s that we were just seeing some of the best movies were rom-coms.
They're really not easy to make.
And that's what I wanted to ask you, because you were like, they're hard. I think people think that they're super easy. And we've seen that they can be hard, because look how it's been going recently. It's like a needle in a haystack to get a good one now.
Something about that magic is missing.
You have to write a rom-com like you're writing a movie that you want to be nominated for awards.
Yeah.
You don't write it to be a formula. There is a formula that is loved. Yeah. And there's a light fare version. Fine, great, but those come and they go. You know what I mean? Those are like, you know, things that people go, oh, that was nice, and then they forget about it, right? But like the real great rom-com, you know, on the heels of Rob passing tragically, like, you know, When Harry Met Sally. Yeah. These movies are written with it's great talent. It's great talent. It's great writing. It's movie stars. It's incredibly executed and acted, and there's an investment in it from the studio or from, you know, in this case, in the world we're living in now, it would be like, you know, streamers or wherever it's going, that wants to make it a movie that is the best film it could possibly be. There's a thing that has happened with it where it's like people think they know better about what those types of movies should be, and I believe they're incorrect. But like anything, it takes someone who really understands them to fight for the right versions of them, which is all you can do. And my thing is, I wish guys would want to do them. The issue is, it's like the rom-com curse. The second you get a successful rom-com, male or female, it's what people want to see you in.
Yeah.
So the studios want to see you in it. People want to see you in it. That's what they talk about all the time. They have a very hard time seeing you or wanting to see you outside of anything else because it made them feel something that they want to like latch onto. So it's like the blessing and the curse for an actor who then wants to go play, disappear into a role that's completely different.
Yeah.
So I can understand the hesitation.
Yeah.
Right.
We need some more like Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell, he wants to do rom-coms.
And I think he followed like the McConaughey school of acting, or it's like Glenn Powell did multiple rom-coms, and now he's also doing all of his action movies.
Glenn. Well, Glenn just wants to make big, great movies. There's some of us want to see people like really in the theater, and it doesn't mean that the art is any less serious. And I believe Glenn can do anything, but he also loves the movie going experience, and I'm very close with Glenn, so and I am like him in the sense that I want to see people sitting in the movie theater having a communal experience, and not just with a superhero movie or something like that, but like things like Song Sung Blue or a rom-com or something. You want to see. We love our industry, right? So it's like that. There's nothing like the communal theater experience, it's so much fun. And it feels different when you're in a room full of people than when you're sitting at home and watching it yourself. And now more than ever, we are so isolated. People are isolated. People are lonely. And you go to the theater even when you're alone, and it feels like you feel connected. And that's a real thing, a real experience.
I felt that way leaving the movie last night. I felt like it really did stick with me, and there was a lot of emotion and a lot that made me think when I went to bed last night, which I think is the most beautiful experience you can have watching a movie. But I want to ask you, you mentioned doing a rom-com, you need to make that movie like it's going to win all the awards and be the best
whether
movie.
It does or doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, obviously you want to make the best possible version of it.
When you made How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and you're filming that movie, did you feel that magic that was going to happen afterwards?
Well, so that's a great example. So How to Lose a Guy, I'm 23 years old. It's the beginning of my career, but obviously I grew up in the industry. I understand the importance of writing. I had the most amazing producer, really partner on that, Linda Obst. We had so many great writers on that script, from Burr Steers to Audrey, who sadly passed away, many years back, and we went through, oh my God, so many drafts to get the script right. And the whole thing was, we knew what the comedy was, and we knew what the set pieces were. But what's the heart of the movie? And what is it that's going to keep people wanting to watch this movie over and over and over again? And that really comes from, working in the beginning with great writers. And then it was every step of the way it was casting. I disagreed with the way they wanted to cast the movie, and I almost left the movie because I was like, I don't want to do it with that person. I think it needs to be a certain kind of movie star, And then we met with Matthew, and that ended up being, I was like, yeah, that's the guy. But it takes, having to fight for the movie. And and so when we were doing it, I think you do kind of feel it when you never know how it's really going to translate, and obviously you got to get in the editing room. It's such a process. Making movies is hard. It's collaborative, but it's a process. It's hard to make a movie, let alone one that's good, and that then it's hard to make that people want to see over and over again. I mean, that's that's like the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
But it takes so many amazing artists, your editor, your production designer, your director, your DP, your camera operators. Like, we're all in it together. When you're on set, you kind of feel it, but then you never know how it translates until you get in the editing room. And
And you mentioned that with Actors on Actors talking about Almost Famous.
Yeah.
Which you said when, leaving that movie, you cried your eyes out because you realized that you created something so special with those people and then not knowing if you were going to make something like that ever again.
Yeah, that was very unique because it was my first real experience. I had done a couple movies, but this was a very different kind of experience. I mean, we went to rock school for like a month before we started shooting, and we were all in this experience together for 6 months. And not that I would have that experience ever again. I knew I would never have that experience again because you never do. Nothing ever happens twice, So that being over was like, it was so special. It was special for everyone. And Cameron is one of the great writer directors, and he kind of creates this atmosphere on set that it's like I was like, I don't ever want to work for anyone else. Like, you just love him so much. And being surrounded by that kind of music and every day was just all of it. And it was hard work, and long, very long hours. But you're working with the best of the best. John Toll, our DP on that, was one of my favorite cinematographers of all time. Like, to be making art with John Toll is like anybody's dream as an actor, and that was, I'll never forget when that ended.
Yeah.
It was sad.
Do you have a favorite Penny Lane moment?
A Penny Lane moment when we were shooting?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many. I think one of the most memorable scenes to shoot was the big choreographed scenes, like through lobbies and stuff. Those were always fun.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because I always love doing when it's always so fun when you're like doing a dance with your camera operator, with your Steadicam, and like everybody's in it together. Every once in a while in your career, you do something where you're so interconnected with everything, and everybody has to be like on point. There's a great scene in the lobby of the Hyatt in LA where I end up talking to Peter Frampton. I think it's the same one as the Bowie in the lobby, but there's a whole scene where we kind of the camera sort of takes us through this lobby, and I remember that so well because there were so many moving parts and so many extras, and everybody had to be on point. And that was really fun.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite moments was when Cameron asked me to stay late and do the Palladium, when I'm dancing after the gig. And he's like, I just want to put a camera up there. And it was just like a couple of us, and it was really quiet, and Cameron played music, and
it's amazing.
He and I have to say, like, as someone who always wrote music and loved music, that was also one of those moments, like, that's my happy place. Like, I love being in places of music, and I won't forget that.
Well, not to put our producer on the spot, but it's his favorite movie of all time. So.
Not to be weird, but I have like a giant poster of your face in my
the almost famous
movie poster is
in his apartment.
That's so great. Yes.
And you were nominated for awards for Almost Famous, and now being nominated again for a Golden Globe for Song Sung Blue, which is so exciting.
Yes.
And
Massive
just a huge congratulations.
Thanks.
It's such a fantastic movie. It's out Christmas Day, which I feel like is a perfect time when you're in that in between of the holidays. You go to the movie. That's my favorite time to go to the movies.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys go see this movie.
It's so good.
We could talk to you for another hour.
I know.
This was
fun.
so great.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kate. And everyone can go see Song Sung Blue in theaters Christmas Day.
Yes. Thank you so much.
This was so fun, you guys.